Welcome back everyone, I'm Craven and this is called Steel. We are in the fortress at this moment and we had, well, it was technically not an assignment, but they said we could explore the entire place. And of course, as you so do, I just press the start button and I saw a lot of story event indicators. So basically wherever we go, we talk to people, there will be small events. And I'm pretty sure once we've activated all of them, that's when we're probably gonna continue. I think they said we have like an hour and a half, 2 hours or something, but that's basically in-game story-wise time, so we're just gonna look around everywhere, talk to everyone, and maybe leave one story event for last, so we know we can go anywhere without having the chance of being stopped in our tracks. So yeah, let's look around and see who we can find. I was wondering who was in front of you, because there is a black dot here for some reason. It's fine. These days I find myself looking forward to mealtime so I can read letters from my family while I eat. It sure ain't the food that puts a smile on my face, that's for sure. I don't think I could keep this slop down if I didn't have these letters to take my mind off it. Yeah, it doesn't really look that appetizing, does it? These days, I find myself looking forward to mealtime so I can read letters from my family while I eat. It sure ain't the food that puts a smile on my face, that's for sure. The vendors are a military family entrusted with the protection of the Imperial family. They're also famous for their house style of swordsmanship. A few of them serve in the Imperial Army, actually. You've got Lieutenant General Vander from the 3rd Armored Division, and there's apparently another Vander in the 7th. You should ask Major Neidhart more. I heard those two were classmates. So is this other Vander gonna be an important person later on? There are thousands of soldiers stationed here in Guerrilla Fortress. That means it can get awfully crowded here in the mess hall, so we do everything in shifts. Though you inevitably get people coming in late, so we never really have much in the way of downtime. What? Did you come to complain about the food some more? That was just a welcome meal of sorts. It's not like we serve food like that every day of the week. Just 6 out of 7. So there is a day you actually serve decent food? Interesting. But on the other day, we served up the army's famous hashed beef rice. It's really good, you know, gives the soldiers something to look forward to. Well, if everything is shit, the one time you have something different will taste godly, I'm sure of it. Yeah, I don't think we need to rest for now. Alright, that's one room down. And the one I'm more interested in is everything in other areas of the base. The flight port. Ooh, it's actually a helipad. Looks like this is the fortress's airport. There might come a day when I find myself in a military airship. Well, at some point, you never know. Depends on what you're gonna do after the academy. You'll find Guerrilla Canyon to the east, and Crossbell lies beyond it. They're currently in the middle of some international conference over there. Yeah, we know. More of our classmates. Try not to get too close to the airships. Well, we're about to head out for our military exercise. They say the 4th Armored Division is the strongest unit in the Imperial Army. I'm looking forward to this. Right, that should do it. Normally I tell you how powerful these things are, but you're about to see it for yourself. Really now? Can we use this ourselves? Would be interesting if we get to fly one of these. Crazy. It really is night and day. Yeah, it's hard to imagine two places more diametrically opposed. Hey, what's wrong, you two? No, we're just talking about how different this place is to Jurai. Jura was super lively, but this place? Well, I think Crow's having withdrawals now that he's somewhere without easy access to a casino at all times. I can imagine. It seems like everyone's talking about Jirai these days, though. Was it really that amazing? It was. I didn't know what to expect but the recent annexation by Erebonian, but everything looked fine to me. It has offices and an entertainment district, and all sorts of people I saw were thoroughly enjoying themselves. I'd go as far as that they were happy to be under the Imperial government's control. I don't know if I'd go that far. Oh? Well, a little bird told me Chancellor Osborne was the one behind the annexation in the first place. It also told me he used some pretty forceful tactics to get them to agree. And of course, most of their tax money takes a brand new detour, straight into the Imperial government's pockets. So I wouldn't be surprised if he made the annexation happen just to fatten his own pocketbook. But paying taxes is a citizen's duty. It's only natural that they do so now that they're under Erebonian's protection, right? Sounds like a pretty complicated issue. Yeah, cause if you're part of a society, most societies will make you pay taxes in some shape or form. So that's not weird. And that it lines the pocket of the actual government that did the annexation, technically is not a weird thing, but yeah. People could possibly not like that, because if they did not pay taxes before then, but they do now, they will be a bit poorer because of it. But I'm sure there are benefits as well. You one stubborn kid. Oh well, here. Anyway, might as well try to enjoy it. Sure, I've heard the claims that the Chancellor Osborne's main priority is the Erebonian territorial expansion. Am I being too hard-headed? Yeah, we've never seen Machias be hard-headed before, have we? Yeah, is it gonna be like that with all our other classmates as well? That they are sharing their experiences with which I had with Jirai? Just so we know what went on there and maybe another political situation? Not a big area. Jesus. This place is huge. Okay, maybe we should enter and completely do the command area, knowing that if we go down, there will be even more people to talk to. With story events. Hey, you must be those students from the Military Academy. So, what do you think of Grelia? Interested in working here after you graduate? I admit, the food's pretty awful, but other than that, it's not a bad place to work. I can get that. Security, you got like 3 meals a day, plenty of rest and exercise. And you're doing it for your country, so I can imagine not being a bad thing, but until war breaks out, which is of course a possibility in games like these. Today's military exercise is a big one. They're pulling out all the stops today. The guy who's actually participating already left a while ago though. Ooh. Oh yeah, Tovel gave me a call about what happened in Lagram. So, you had a mechanical monster show up outside of city limits? Yeah, Tovel looked pretty concerned when we first mentioned it to him too. Do you know anything about them? Well, I'm no stranger to the group that makes them. They go by the name of Ouroboros. Hey, I think this is actually the first time this name dropped in this game. Yeah, finally, it's there. Their existence has been acknowledged. They're a secret society of sorts that acts in the shadows all across the continent. A secret society? We don't know how many members there are, what they're capable of, honestly. We don't know much about them at all. What we do know is that they have access to technology more advanced than most cutting-edge research institutes. And that they have been behind several crises that have threatened to shake the foundations of the entire nation states. And these are the people who made those monsters. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I find it hard to swallow, but there's no denying what we saw out there. Well, you don't need to come to grips with it just yet. We call the mechanical monsters like the one you guys fought archaisms. And lately, it seems like an awful lot of them have made their way onto the black market. has been one-sided after another these days, all over the Empire and beyond. Wow, that's heavy. Does that mean there's a chance they may be plotting something here in Erebonia? Just in your opinion, I mean. Well, that is the tricky thing about them. It doesn't necessarily mean that at all. There have been cases where we know they put archaisms out into the wild purely to test their abilities, for example. Still, it's something to keep in the back of your mind at least. Right, I'll be sure to let the others know too. Okay, so the archaism being there could have been a test run from Ouroboros, just to see what would happen. Meaning, we might see more of those attacks later on in the game as maybe exterminated monsters, or even in the main story itself. Honestly, as if we don't have enough to worry about with terrorists out there and the two factions at each other's throats, she'd just play innocent too, even if I tried to press her about it. Claire. Who do you mean? Oh, just talking to myself. Anyway, you just focus on your field study right now. Between this fortress and the training exercise you'll be observing this afternoon, you'll have a front row seat to see what the military is all about. Understood, instructor. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's gonna look very amazing. Guerrilla Fortress is the eastern cornerstone of the Empire, in both size and strategic importance. In addition to all the guardsmen assigned to the fortress, the 5th Armored Division is stationed here as well. If you go by the sheer number of soldiers, Guerrilla is easily the Empire's largest military base. Having that kind of power on display here will make Calvert think twice before messing with us. Maybe. Because technically we know there is gonna be an attack. We just don't know by who. And seeing as the opening scene had those archaisms in there as well, is it Ouroboros? Or is it the Liberation Front that bought those archaisms from the black market? Or, a third option, is the Liberation Front another section of Ouroboros itself? Things we still don't know, but we'll have to find out at some point. Welcome to Guerrilla Fortress. You and your classmates from Thors Military Academy have been granted permission to explore the fortress. As long as you don't stray outside the permitted areas, you're free to go wherever you'd like. Welcome. The corridor on the right leads to the right wing of the fortress. Left, you'll find the guest rooms and briefing room. The staircase over there leads to the command center, but you haven't been granted permission to go inside. That's just how it is, I'm afraid. Maybe they'll decide to show you around there later. Ooh, shop. Oh, hey there. I take care of resupplying soldiers' personal equipment. I've got permission to sell to you, so if there's anything you need, just let me know. What can we buy? No new master quartz. Is this the same? Yeah, I think this has to be the same weapon, right? This is better? Yeah, this is definitely better. This is just a small increase. So hiking shoes we can just leave, but the blue tonic, that might be something we need to get for everyone once they're back in our party. What else do you have? Just normal items. Still not the improved version, just terrible. Of course, a lot of ingredients. Ah, and another Imperial Chronicle issue number 7. Yes, let's give it to me. Good. Alright. I think that's it for now, at least until we get more people in our party. The soldiers here seem pretty well trained. Pretty well equipped too, like you'd expect from the Empire's biggest fortress. You need to put in some serious prep time if you want to topple it. Fee? I'm not sure that's something you should say within the earshot of the soldiers. Old habits die hard. They do seem to be outfitted well though. Wouldn't expect any less from the Imperial Army. Look like we can get supplies over that counter too. Seems worth a look. It definitely is, but like I said, I need people in my party, so I know if it's better for them as well. I heard about the fortress from my father, but seeing it in person really drives home its incredible scale. Oh yeah, your father helps train the Imperial Army in swordsmanship, doesn't he? I can see why he's so busy, if he's going around training all the soldiers in places this massive. Indeed. I feel like reality of that is finally sinking in for me as well. I have no idea how his teachings are actually being applied though. Perhaps we'll have the opportunity to find out during today's military training exercise. I'm looking forward to it. As do I. I expect some of the soldiers in this fortress have been trained by my father. Perhaps today's military exercise will give us a chance to see them put their training to use. And that we can recognize who has been trained by him. That would be interesting as well. Let's see... Fortress Central Freight Platform. I think up there is probably the command center, which we are not allowed to enter. So if we're not allowed to, might as well go there first. Ooh, Nightheart. Ah, so you're the students who have come to tour the fortress. Yes, sir. He's wearing an officer's uniform. I wonder if he's... This is Lieutenant General Walter, commander of the Guerrilla Fortress. He also serves as the division commander for the 5th Armored Division, which is stationed here. Ah, I apologize for not greeting you Sonu, sir. Thank you for granting us the opportunity to tour the fortress. It really is an honor. Well, at least you aren't lacking in manners. Hardly built like a soldier, though. I have my doubts that you'd be able to endure the military training regime with a physique like that. You sure you're training them properly, Major? Oh, my apologies, sir. Ah, though I hear the Academy has a former bracer as their combat instructor. They must really be scraping bottom. I've heard of the Purple Lightning before, of course, but a bracer is still a bracer. Leaving such an important role in the hands of a civilian is ridiculous. The famous Thor isn't what it used to be. Ah, well, no surprises there. It's like he fills in every box on the checklist for a stereotypical Imperial Army soldier. That he definitely does. Anyway, as Fortress Commander, allow me to welcome you to Guerrilla. Keep in mind though, that we're constantly on alert for potential threats from the east. I have no problem with your class conducting your field study here, but see to it that you don't get in the way. Of course, sir. Very well. I'll take my leave here, as I have business to attend to. Phew, he's certainly strict. Well, he is responsible for keeping one of the Empire's most vital defenses fortifications running smoothly. Considering the ongoing tensions between the Empire and the Republic, you should be grateful he allowed you to come here at all. I won't forget it. Now, I'm afraid I must excuse myself as well. You're welcome to tour the rest of the fortress, but don't try to enter the command center. Of course. Good luck with your work, instructor. I'll see you later then. You haven't been granted permission to enter the command center. I'll need to ask you to leave. No problem. Lieutenant General Walter and Major Neidhart's voices can be heard coming from within the room. They seem really busy. Maybe I should look somewhere else. Yes. Alright, where to go next? Is it the motor pool? The freight platform and the motor pool, yes. So that's Major Neidhart of the 4th Armored Division, huh? And this time serving under Lieutenant General Gregg. I hear he's come to be considered one of the Army's top 2 most promising young officers. And he's actually pretty handsome, if I say so myself. I bet anything he flies right up the ranks. So why does the fact that he's handsome has anything to do with his rise through the ranks? I'm sure he's just a very good officer, right? Ooh, this seems familiar. This reminds me of the opening scene we had. I don't know if it's exactly here, but It is what it reminds me of. You've only been granted permission to explore certain parts of the left wing. Everywhere else is off limits. If it's any consolation, there is not much worth seeing in the right wing, to be honest. It's mostly just storage rooms. It's locked. There's no way to explore past here. Yeah, and we're probably not even allowed to. Ooh. Nah, I thought it was someone I knew, but alas, it is not. Alright, motor pool next. Yeah, and this is of course the same area we were when we came down the other staircase. This is the first hangar where we keep our tanks. Every soldier in the 5th Armored Division knows it's back to front. Be sure to take a good look around. Oh, we will. We definitely will. Ew. Are we allowed to go outside? Whoa. Yeah, impressive, isn't it? It's so huge. It's just ridiculous if you think about it. And there are the tanks. I can't believe the size of this place. Oh, given that uniform, you must be one of the students from Thors. Feel free to look around all you like, but try to stay out of our way. We're all incredibly busy at the moment. So if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you to make your way to the corridor over there instead of hanging around here. Understood. Thank you very much. Might as well head over there. Okay, where are we? Okay, so he made us walk all the way over here. What can we find here? A few more extra events, probably? Well, while we're here, might as well. Ah, you're one of those students from Thors, aren't you? Don't wander off on your own or anything. Security is on high alert because of the trade conference. We're working some pretty rough shifts already, so we don't need you causing us any extra trouble. I wasn't planning to. At least not at the moment. Gaius? Are you okay? I'm just kind of shocked by how different the atmosphere here is from Zendergate. Well, it is a major military base right at the border of Crossbell. I never imagined it'd be quite this big though. This place is such a departure from Zendergate that I can hardly believe that this is the same military. Although, perhaps this is the true face of the Imperial Army. Well, he's not wrong. Well, this fortress is a massive departure from the image I've had of the military up until now. It is a reality I can accept, but one that I pray Nord will never have to face. I hope so too. This fortress is the very definition of oversized, and that's ignoring the excessive display of military power. I imagine that the posturing is meant to show the Cruisan Provincial Army that they could crush them on a whim. I forget what this place probably means to you and your family. I suppose. While I don't agree with my father's actions, I can't say I'm comfortable with this fortress's presence either. In fact, I find it hard to believe that anyone could sleep peacefully near a fortress like this. Yeah, cause of any military building in the region, this is a target. And a big one at that. Because if an enemy wants to attack, this is where they need to be.
Ah, I guess I can't see it from here after all. We'd be able to see it from where the railway guns are, but they'll get mad if I get too close to them.
What are you up to now, Milliam?
You know, that huge Orcus tower where they're holding the trade conference. I'm trying to get a good view of that.
Oh yeah, they mentioned it in the Imperial Chronicle and on the radio. Can you actually see it from all the way over here? That'd be incredible.
Would I ever lie to you? I wish I could have gone with cramps instead of being stuck on some stupid field study.
Why'd you join Class 7 then? Speaking of which, they're going to be holding the keynote session there tomorrow. I wonder what they'll be talking about during it.
Mostly people thinking it's just so they can decide on finance rules and stuff for Western Zemuria. But I think it's really just gonna end up being about who Crossbell belongs to. Knowing Grams, he might even try to get Crossbell to become part of the Erebonian.
Seriously?
Well, the prince is gonna be there too, so he'll probably just try to shake everybody up a bit.
Unbelievable. Thors there too, so here's hoping everything goes well. I hope so too. And what actually will happen there, I'm pretty sure we'll see when we start the Crossbell saga. What's with that kid? I know we'll be getting visitors from Thors, but they're older than that, right? How did she even get in here? Well, I think she went with us here using the train, but he's maybe referring to the fact how did she ever get into the military academy in the first place? Because that is a story all on its own. And a pretty crazy one on that. Alright, let's get back inside, if we're allowed to, of course. Hoping they haven't blocked off this path as well as, hey, you went here, you can't go back. Yes, return to the fortress. Alright. Let's see what's over on this side. Ah, the actual platform itself. Ah, the train schedules have all been changing up while the trade conference is going on. It's supposed to be a special security measure, but really, all it's done is put us on edge. Oh, here's container 32A. Jeez, why can't they ever deliver these things on time? Well, maybe there's something in there that shouldn't be in there, that's why they're late. Suspicious of everything we see here, just because we know what's gonna happen next. Guess you're a visitor. Try not to wander anywhere that's off limits. Things are pretty crazy right now. Ain't a soldier here who wouldn't leap at a chance for a full night's rest. I can imagine so. Working for the military, I'm sure, is a really tiring job. Potentially really fulfilling, but tiring nonetheless. Where did this container come from? I don't remember anyone ordering it. And again, another one of those suspicious containers. Who knows, maybe the archaisms are in these containers as a preemptive placement of military units, you know what I mean? So yeah. Past noon already? Huh, no wonder I'm starving. That military exercise has really upped our workload. I just want to get this over with and grab a bite to eat. Yeah, me too, me too. Alright, that's it for the freight platform. So basically where the train stops and unloads all their goods. So the only thing left is the tank location. The tank garage, yes. That's a lot of tanks. I wish at some point we get to see them in action. Seems like this is the hangar for tanks and armored cars. It's kind of staggering to see so many of them lined up in one place. It truly is. Can you imagine them all being active, driving over a battlefield, firing at enemies? Yeah, it's gonna be amazing if we ever get to see that. We spent the whole night fitting the old tanks with C units for today's military exercise. Can you believe it? It's been at this all night without so much as a minute of shut-eye. Once this is done, I'm gonna sleep like no one's ever slept before. Seems like a plan. These new armored cars are state-of-the-art technology, but they're practically toys compared to the Akzen tanks. You'll see what I mean soon enough. Intriguing. Lunch is waiting for me after this. I can hear it calling my name. Engineer, engineer. Just gotta keep it up a bit longer. Yeah. Good attitude. First work, then we play. Ah, the Octines has some crazy firepower, but they require a lot of maintenance. They're like fuzzy little babies. If fuzzy little babies could fire armor-piercing rounds anyway. Never know, you might have one of those special kind of babies. Well, this here is called the Orbital Net. We got it hooked up after the Reinforced Company asked us to test it out. I gotta say, it's pretty darn impressive. You can pretty much access it whenever you want, and you can give way more specific orders than you can on the phone. To be honest, this overtime would have been a huge nightmare if it weren't for this. Alright, this one stays closed. The older engineer seems really worn out. I'm new here myself, but it sounds like it's always like this when they have to prep for military exercises. Hey, you gotta get ready and you need to be prepared so that everyone can do the exercise safely. My daughter's turning 3 soon. Don't worry, Dad'll be home soon. He just needs to survive this overtime. The legendary character Red will be overseeing our military exercise today. He's the man every soldier should aspire to be. A strong fighter, a brilliant tactician rolled into one. You can just feel the excitement in the air. Yeah, me too. I can't wait to see him, to see how Elliot's dad actually is. Is it gonna be one of those very touchy dads that's gonna hug him straight away when they see it? Or is he gonna have the military stature that we imagine he has? Oh, I'm not entirely sure how to feel seeing so many accents lined up like this. The Reinforced Company makes these, don't they? Unfortunately so. I'm sure they'll be using them for this military exercise too. As far as I can tell, they'll be pitted against the older automated models. That sounds pretty brutal. The older tanks won't stand a chance. Well, that's kind of the point. They want to show off just how easily the accents can dominate them. Well, you don't get the chance to go eyes on with this stuff every day. I'll take the opportunity to see for myself just how competent they are. That's just like her. It truly is. I'm not looking forward to this. You've never seen any military exercises before, right, Rean? Yeah, this will be my first time. I take it you have then? Yeah, my dad showed me one of the last time he brought me out here. He really does want me to join the military, but I really don't think I'll ever be suited for the way he is. I get what you're coming from. The more I hear about his dad, the more curious I get. Me too. Me too, Rean, definitely. Okay, that seems to be everywhere. Let's check up here. And one more location left. Just like I planned at the beginning of the episode. I said that we're gonna leave one point here somewhere so we can finish that off last and know where it's gonna be. That's the one we'd be missing. Oh, are you taking a rest, Emma? I did take a short walk around, but everything about this fortress is so imposing. It made me feel like a little faint. I feel you there. Looking at Emma now, it's hard to believe she's the same person who almost single-handedly guided us through that castle. Rean? Nah, never mind. But there is one thing that's been bugging me lately. Ever since we arrived in Legram, I feel like just out of the corner of my eye, I catch glimpses of this small black shadow following us. But ever since we got to the fortress, I haven't seen it. Really? Maybe you possessed by something. Possessed? Yikes, that's kind of an unsettling thought. It is, isn't it? Phew, I'm glad I told her to go back when we reached Keldic. Okay, so a little bit extra information about what we were wondering in the last episode. If we'd see Celine here or not. No, not today. This fortress is so vast, I should see myself getting lost if I'm not too careful. I'm glad I didn't bring her along. What is it? Nothing much. Just curious. Alright, can we see where we need to be for the next part? Because do we technically just... use a bed to rest or something? Or we need to go to a very specific location. Maybe if we go all the way back to the cafeteria and we rest from there. Nope, that's not the official resting place. Yeah, it doesn't seem that anywhere in this area is where we need to be. So let's move on to other locations and see if the quest marker is there. Because that could be the case. Nope, this is not it. This bulletin is to inform all Thors students that preparation for today's military exercise are now complete. Please assemble in the hangar immediately. Your transport is standing by. I repeat. Ah, that's Instructor Neidhart. The time must have passed more quickly than I thought. I suppose I should start making my way towards the hangar. Maybe I'll run into the others on my way. You probably will. We boarded the armored cars and set off towards the proving grounds. Get inside that shell. I want to ride one of those. The inside of the armored car was narrow and cramped, and the smell of machine oil hung in the musty air. The car shook and rattled all over the uneven ground, tumbling us around like an iron coffin on wheels. Eventually, after enduring the 10 minutes of jaw-rattling travel, unable to even peek outside at the scenery, we finally arrived at Karelia Fortress's military proving grounds. Yes, the military training ground. Wow, Octane main battle tanks. There are plenty of older models tanks out there too. It even looks like they have airships out there. Oh yeah, like the ones we saw in Nord. Well, welcome. Oh. There he is. Elliot's dad. Ah, so that's Elliot's dad. I don't see the family resemblance. Looks like the hair made the jump from Fire to Zando. Reporting, Lieutenant General. Very good, Neidhart. And Instructor Celestine, I believe. Pleased to meet you. Well, it's an honor to make your acquaintance, Lieutenant General Gregg. Allow me to extend my deepest thanks for agreeing to cooperate with us for the Academy's curriculum today. Ah, think nothing of it. Many of these fine youngsters may one day hold positions in the Imperial Army after all. Besides, I owe a lot to old General Van Dyke. Ah, and these must be... what a piercing stare. Ah, so this is Gregg the Red. Ah, Elliot, my boy, it's so good to see you again. Another doting father, of course, I should have known. Ah, it must be half a year since I last saw you. How have you been? It's a sharp-looking uniform you've got too. I've seen the photos, but it looks even better on you in person. Ah, Dad, come on. Ah, you still got a long way to go if you want to put on some real muscle. There's part of me that hopes you'll stay my little cherub forever. But you're a man of Erebonia, and the men of the Empire must be strong, stout, and ready for action. It was for your own good as a man that I held back my tears and enrolled you in the military academy.
Oh, Dad, I can't breathe. I feel like everything I've been told about him was a lie. There seems to be some differences from the stories.
You kidding me? Ha, he seemed like a cool guy.
What a delightful commanding officer you have, Major.
Words fail me.
Ah, Dad, knock it off. I'll tell Fiona.
Moving right along. Brilliant. The threat of Fiona is enough to set him straight. I am Lieutenant General Olaf Gregg, commander of the Imperial Army's 4th Armored Division. I've been entrusted with the role of overseeing today's joint military exercise. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Likewise, sir. It's a pleasure, sir.
You've got one heck of a dad, Elliot.
Believe me, I feel it in the bones.
Now, let me give you a brief rundown of what will be happening. This exercise will consist of a simulated battle conducted by 2 of our armored divisions. Armored Regiment of the Formation Center, infantry, armored cars and airships will be working in tandem, using their maneuverability to the fullest to obliterate the targets. As our targets today, we'll be using previous model tanks that have been decommissioned from service. Autopiloted functionality will allow them to evade and return fire, but they've only been armed with paint bullets. However, all other regiments taking part in today's exercise will be equipped with live ammunition.
Ah, so you intend to actually destroy the other tanks?
It would hardly be a live fire exercise if we didn't. The current time is 1400 hours, right on schedule. We'll now begin today's joint military exercise. Armored Divisions 4 and 5 commence combat operations. Glory to the Empire and the Imperial Army. Begin!
Yes, sir!
5th Armored Division, Armored Regiment will advance first. Armored Car Regiment and Infantry Regiment follow their lead. 4th Armored Division, Armored Regiment and Infantry Regiment advance together. Armored Car Regiment deploy to the left and right. Is it gonna be an actual exercise or is there something gonna happen? Like they said, a show of strength.
Whoa. It certainly is potent.
So this is the kind of firepower it takes to fight a modern war.
You said those tanks are called Axines? Yeah, they're a type of main battle tank the Reinford Company developed 2 years ago. I've seen their spec sheets, but seeing their power firsthand tells me what numbers and decimal points don't. They may be the strongest heavy tanks on the continent.
And the Imperial Army's got a couple hundred of those in the wings, isn't it? That's kind of crazy.
You try fighting things like these head on, you won't stand a chance. That's as true for our own nation as it's for others. I just can't get used to this. Just the sound of the artillery firing is enough to make me start shaking.
I don't think that's something you should get used to. I mean, if the sound of guns in warfare ever stopped bothering you, I'd be worried.
Rean. I guess this is another kind of strength.
Is he panicking because of the... Well, he's not actually panicking, but maybe having a little bit of a stress attack on his chest because of the military exercise? Well, he is right. is another form of strength he needs to get used to. Thus, the military exercise came to an end. The 4th Armored Division, led by Lieutenant General Gregg, withdrew to an encampment near the fortress. Meanwhile, we returned to the fortress where Major Neidhart outlined the results of the training exercise. After that, lunch. Or dinner, considering it's now nighttime. Ah, sorry you had to wait for us to finish. Oh, don't worry about it. We're the guest here after all.
Thanks for your consideration.
Ah, at the very least, I'd say dinner's a million times better than lunch was. I mean, it's hashed beef day.
That's an Imperial Army tradition, isn't it? Oh, just the smell is making me hungry.
Oh yeah, where did your instructor go? She's a real looker. I was hoping to get a chance to talk to her. Well, she went to the fortress commander with Instructor Neidhart.
Well, she did ask us to eat without her tonight.
Ah, right. Well, if she's with Major Neidhart, it's hard to compete with those guys from the 4th Armored Division. It'd be enough if they just had Gregg the Red, but they've got the Major too, and he's kind of scary.
Like a division of muscle men.
Anyway, we should keep you tied up any longer. Your hashed beef is gonna go cold. See you tomorrow, guys. Well, that certainly does look better, at least.
Wow, it's actually delicious. It's like night and day compared to what we had for lunch.
You're telling me.
Ah, come on guys, what's with all the gloomy faces?
You think you guys might have had a bit too rosy of an outlook? What were you expecting to see out there? I'm sure you can understand at least a little about how we feel. It's like, has everything we've learned in our time at the academy been for nothing?
Academics, the arts, individual skills in combat. None of those matter in the slightest in real warfare, do they? It's true. If all you're looking to do is to fight a war, you don't need any of those.
All of you need is plenty of troops at your command, the latest weaponry and overwhelming firepower. Assuming you know the tactic to use them well, and then a tragedy that employs them effectively, I suppose.
The accents are even more powerful than I was expecting them to be too. I remember my mother boasting about their capabilities when she was trying to sell them to the army 2 years ago, but...
to be honest, I'm feeling somewhat disheartened as well. I can't see how they being a place for swords on a battlefield with weapons like these on the front lines.
Well, I don't think that means individual combat skills doesn't matter at all.
Still, I think maybe we've been misunderstanding something important all this time. What we saw in the military exercise today was power in its purest form. It has no morality of its own. It extends to bring about a result, regardless of ideals or principles of those who wield it.
That's true. In a sense,
the same could be said of a sword or gun.
And all that way up to something as huge as Guerrilla's railway guns too.
I think I finally understand why they wanted us to watch that military exercise in the first place. They could have just taught us in a lesson roundabout fashion.
Well, looks like you didn't wait for me to start the party.
Instructor Sarah?
Oh, so you spoke with the commander?
Sure did. And I've got up-to-date info on the trade conference too. As well as a little, all the latest on the terrorists. So there is new information about the Imperial Liberation Front. Anyway, before I get to that, let me explain what you'll be doing tomorrow. In the morning, you're scheduled to participate in the Imperial Army's physical fitness training. In the afternoon, you'll be attending a special lecture, while I'll bring you up to speed on that info I just mentioned.
After that, you've been granted special permission to view the railway guns. I see. Looking forward to that. Sounds like we got a pretty packed schedule. Well, we did bring you all the way out here, so we might as well make the most of it. Every nation possesses power in the form of a military, whether that military is large or small. Corellia Fortress just happens to have the power in a very striking, easy to understand form. As students of a military academy, you have an obligation to know the scale of the power. The Empire of Erebonia wields at the present a power you might one day be in charge of yourself. What? Anyway, even a meeting that long couldn't keep me away from trying the famous hashed beef rice. I've heard of it the only decent food they have around here, so I've been looking forward to this all day. We should probably finish eating. Yeah, though it's kinda a bit cold now. Maybe I'll just go and ask for seconds. Oh, juices! If you don't want the rest of yours, can I have it?
I'd sooner throw it away than give it to you. Yeah, they almost act like brother and sister, those two. Okay, nothing interesting. I was wondering if there was going to be like an explosion or something out there. Okay, that should do it. Alright, that covers today's quota. Phew, I'm looking forward to a nice long bath. Well, you know how every time there's a military exercise coming up, the workload gets pretty crazy like this. Still, at least managing inventory has gotten a lot easier thanks to the orbital net. They've got everything hooked up to the network over in Crossbell, right? Wish the Empire would get on that a bit more. Think of the utility. Well, from the sound of it, you need special equipment to send signals through a wired connection to make use of it. And considering the size of the Empire, it's probably going to be quite a while before it's a widespread thing here. An orb mail? Look like it's from HQ. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. This right here is the problem with the orbital net. There's no such thing as off hours when they can just send you orders around the clock. What's going on? So, get this. They're planning on doing some extra exercise tomorrow. That means we gotta outfit 20 accents with C units by tomorrow. 20! Seriously? Might as well start up another pot of coffee. We're in for an all-nighter for sure. Do we even have that many C units left? Actually, another lot came by freight train this evening. Exactly 20, if you can believe it. Guess we'll just have to get this done. Crap! At least they let us take a shower. I'm gonna head down to the mess hall and grab some snacks. You want anything? Yes, Oreos. Lots and lots of Oreos. Yes. I think this is a great place to leave it here for the episode. Next time is going to be probably the next morning, and we're going to do the exercise. Yes, we're going to train with the military and see what it's all about. And we did hear some people say that we might not be fit enough to be part of the military, but we're going to prove them wrong. Definitely. It's going to be really interesting. So that's going to be at the next episode. And you might go back to that first scene in the game where they attacked the fortress and the cannons. Which should happen while we're here. Because we were here during that scene. I can imagine we're just going to go back to Thors, have another 2 months of field studies, and then come back here again when it will happen. I feel like it will happen real soon. Maybe even next episode. But we'll have to wait till then. Until then, I wish you all a great night, morning, day, wherever you are. And if you're still here, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and be back next time. Until then, bye-bye. you.